Hello humans, I'm Yoshiller, and welcome to a retrospective episode of my Mario Kart 8 series, Random Rapid Races! This is the 50th and final episode of my series, and it is also serving as my transitional episode of my Mario Kart 8 Wii U series to my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Nintendo Switch series. At the time of this video's upload, I've already uploaded a few different Mario Kart 8 Deluxe videos, but I still wanted to give this series a proper closure, since I feel that it was important for the series to end properly on my channel. This was an important series for me, as Mario Kart is very important to my channel and my history. Throughout these 50 episodes, each episode can be watched as a standalone episode, and each one has a bit of a story to it. For instance, something like 5:31:14 marks the first time I played in a tourney in the series, and 8:27:14 marks the first time that I played as Black Yoshi instead of the traditional green one. But let's start at the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I don't mean the beginning of Mario Kart 8. I mean, let's go back to Mario Kart Wii. See, in Mario Kart Wii, I was a very popular player, though this was before gaming on YouTube became more mainstream. But I uploaded a ton of Mario Kart videos. Most notably, my two main Mario Kart series were online hacker races, where I raced against hackers or sometimes even was the hacker, and Rich Petty races, where I played more traditional races, but every episode had to include a player known as Rich Petty. I mainly have to thank my friend Shruby for introducing me to all these players, but at the same time, I also have to thank Rich Petty for even inspiring me to make my own series. See, Rich Petty was the me name of another Mario Kart player, but you might know him as Jughead870 on YouTube. He had a popular Mario Kart Wii series known as What Am I Thinking?, where the premise was that he would provide commentary using YouTube's annotation feature. My series was a spin-off of his, and I also initially used annotations instead of the commentary that you guys would later know today. The first time we actually raced was on May 9th, 2010, and the race he recorded from that session was on N64 Bowser Castle. However, the first race that I actually recorded, which was the first episode of Rich Petty Races, was on July 10th, or 7/10/10. It took some time for me to get used to everything, but eventually I started to record my own commentary during the races, and thus, that's how people began to know me, as some sort of goofy guy who played as a Black Yoshi and had awkward and zany commentary.
No! Don't worry, Chris Angel got me too! Oh, you suck so much! Alright, that's it. No more Mr. Nice, Yoshi! Let's go!
Each episode of Rich Petty Races had its fair share of memorable moments, but what was important was that Rich Petty had to be in every single episode, as this was a spin-off of his series, and the series was called Rich Petty Races after all. The main idea was that you'd watch his perspective without commentary on his channel, and then you'd watch my perspective with my commentary on my channel. And since he was the host of his show and he had his own thing going on, I just kind of tagged along and did whatever he wanted to do. So if he was hosting a themed room, I'd join this room and I'd join the theme. If he was playing worldwide, I'd go ahead and play worldwide, so on and so forth. I guess that at the time, there wasn't quite a setup like this. I mean, people commonly recorded their Mario Kart races and uploaded their perspective. That was a normal thing, and that's still a normal thing. But there wasn't really a series that was a spin-off of another series, and the spin-off series became more popular than the original series. That type of stuff happens on TV, but not so much on Mario Kart videos, if that makes sense. Rich Petty Races eventually came to a close as Mario Kart 8 was on the horizon. But rather than just call it Mario Kart 8 Rich Petty Races, I kind of wanted to do something different. For this series, I wanted to give myself a bit of freedom, and I wanted to have a more standalone series that I could record whenever I wanted. So rather than having to wait until Rich Petty was playing, I could go and do my own thing. I could host my own friend rooms, I could play against my own group of friends. I didn't have to wait on someone else's schedule. So, I called this new series Random Rapid Races! Simply because I thought it got the point across, and I liked the alliteration in the title. And Mario Kart 8 became exactly that. It was a series that was random and rapid, and I could record and upload whenever I wanted. On one hand, I guess that the initial charm that was Mario Kart Wii's Rich Petty Races was gone, but on the other hand, I now had total control and could host my own sessions whenever I wanted. And that's what I did. I hosted my own fair share of tourneys, I had my own friend rooms, and I had my own wacky and crazy adventures in the world of Mario Kart. But before the game was even released, I played the game at E3 2013, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I played 3 tracks at that time, and they were Mario Circuit, Toad Harbor, and Twisted Mansion. I also took a picture while I was there, and I used it in the first episode of my series when it eventually debuted. Funny, when I played Mario Kart 8 Deluxe early at a preview event, I also took a picture there as well. Well, now you can see them side by side and see how many things have changed. The first episode of Random Rapid Races also has a bit of a story to it. I discussed it a little bit in the first episode of the series, but I'll explain it again. I got the game early, but not because I was a Nintendo brand ambassador. It was because a store had sold it early. And this store was somewhat nearby, and when I say somewhat, I mean that the store was 3.5 miles away. So I walked to it, and then I walked back. And so, I was able to record my true initial reactions to the game. The first track that I raced on in the series was GBA Mario Circuit, and it was also the last track that I raced on in this series, and I planned that intentionally. In my first race of the series, I got 3rd place out of 7 players, and from there, Random Rapid Races was officially underway. It also featured a hand-drawn intro that was made by Charles C. Bernardo, and the intro was used on every episode of the series. The music was also arranged by Drasgon5665, and fun fact, the song is actually based on a melody from Yoshi's Island. Here, have a listen. From there, I recorded one more episode of the game before it was officially released, and that was simply because I randomly encountered Andre from Game Explain. In my excitement, I quickly hooked up my recording equipment and I quickly said my intro and got things underway. During the session, I also encountered another YouTuber known as Dom Tendo. And this is an interesting parallel to how things have currently played out in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe before it came out, I raced against Andre from Game Explain again, and I encountered at least one other YouTuber from another country. But beyond that, both of my first recording sessions featured GBA Mario Circuit somewhere in the mix, and my first race consisted of 7 players both times. I previously stated that each Mario Kart 8 episode has a bit of a story to it. So that's mostly the story for the first episode and the second episode, but what about the rest of the episodes? Well, let's shoot through them real quickly. So on 5/29/14, I finally began using the Yoshi bike as my racing vehicle, which would later become my staple, iconic racing machine. On 5/30/14, I raced against some more friends who had picked up the game at this point. On 5/31/14, I joined one of my YouTube friends and a tourney, and on 6/2/14, I hosted my own tourney for the first time, and I played as Baby Rosalina. On 6/21/14, I had a somewhat traditional session in which I played by myself in order to help balance out the diversity in the series, considering I just did 2 tourneys, but the important thing was that it was my series, and I wanted to emphasize that. On 6/26/14, this was the first and only episode of the series to feature 4-player local multiplayer, and as of this episode, every single track in the game appeared at least once in the series. On 7/6/14, I hosted another tourney, and this time I played as regular Rosalina. Starting with 7/18/14, a user by the name of Carp assisted me in making my videos look better. So from here, my videos were higher quality and actually played at 60 frames per second. On 8/2/14, I hosted the replica tourney, in which every participant had to use a Mii that was based off a famous character or celebrity. It was also my first 2-player online episode, and I actually recorded another session on the same day, which was also a 2-player episode, but it didn't feature the Mii theme. On 8/27/14, this was the first episode recorded after the announcement of the game's upcoming DLC, so I purchased all the DLCs so that I could use the multicolored Yoshis, specifically so I could use the black Yoshi. There we go, I used a black Yoshi in Mario Kart Wii, and now I'm able to use one in Mario Kart 8. It all worked out in the end. On 11/13/14, the first batch of DLC was released, but I was plagued with only getting regular tracks, despite everyone's best efforts to try and pick the DLC ones. To make up for it, I recorded another session on 11/14/14 where I was able to record all the DLC tracks with relative ease. With Super Smash Bros. Becoming a big focus on my channel around the time, I returned to Mario Kart 8 with another tourney on 12/26/14, with a tourney known as the Retro Tourney. My first session of 2015 was on 1/10/15, and I believe this was the first episode in which I began mentioning my joke about how I would name the blooper Paul and how I would name the piranha plant Steve. I'm usually not good with this item. Let's see what I've got. Hi, Paul. Paul the blooper has sprayed my screen. In case you don't know, in case you're like new to my videos, that blooper's name, I have named him Paul. Alright, give me something good. Okay, I've got Steve the piranha plant. Much like how I named the blooper Paul, the piranha plant is named Steve. I would also re-explain this joke every time I brought it up in each subsequent episode, which also became part of the joke. Give me something good. Blooper? Whatever. Go get him, Paul. Go get him, Paul. Paul will destroy all of you. I don't know if I've said this already. I know I say it like every video. In case you're jumping around this video, that blooper's name, the name is Paul. I like to call that blooper Paul. So anytime he attacks me, I say, hi, Paul. And whenever I see him attack others, I say, hi, Paul. So regardless, I say hi to Paul.
Oh, hey, Paul. Hey, buddy. Came to greet you before I win this race. Hey, when did you pass me?
Banana.
When is everybody passing me?
Luigi's after Ronco now.
Oh, come.
Paul.
What do you say we move on to the next item, which is a Piranha Plant, and let's see if I can snatch the other racers out of the way. There we go. The Piranha Plant ate Paul the blooper. Steve ate Paul. Steve the Piranha Plant ate Paul the blooper. On 1/19/15, I played another session by myself, but as of this session, I made it a recurring bit to honk my horn at the beginning of a race if my track choice was ever selected. In this instance, SNES Rainbow Road was the first time where this rule was applied. I am relaxed. Oh, okay, I guess we're going to SNES Rainbow Road, and it picked mine of all things, so I'm very pleased to see that. This is such a pretty stage, and I'm honking in excitement because it picked my stage. I think I'm going to make that a thing. Anytime I pick a stage and the vote picks mine, I'm going to honk. I mean, I honk randomly as is anyway, but I just want to make that a thing. On 2/16/15, I showcased the game's amiibo costumes, as I had been collecting a few of them at the time, so I showcased whatever costumes that I could. On 2/21/15, I recorded my first co-commentated session, not counting local multiplayer, of course.
For anyone who watches this video, John Cena!
In preparation of the second batch of DLC for Mario Kart 8, I recorded a session on 4/9/15 in which I only played on the game's default 32 tracks, and the following day, I recorded another session in which I played on the game's first batch of DLC tracks. I also recall the bits in this episode where Lithero actually joined us, and he explained how he lost a race on Mute City.
I'm in 5th place.
Well, wait, I got first? How? Where's Lithero?
Wait, what?
I said I got first. What happened?
What happened to him?
Oh, Lithero messaged me on Skype. It was that day Lithero discovered you can't reverse over the finish line at Mute City because it's a boost pad. ROFL.
On 4/23/15, the second batch of DLC was released, and I recorded my reactions to it. And on 4/24/15, I recorded the rest of the tracks, this time with friends. On 4/25/15, this was the first episode of a 4-part session that consisted of different bits throughout the entire night. Although this session was recorded on one day, in order to distinguish between the episodes, I gave the episodes different dates. So part 1 was 4/25/15, part 2 was 4/26/15, part 3 was 4/27/15, so on and so forth. Team races were used in 4/27/15, and Styles X2 joined us for 4/28/15. On 4/29/15, I played against a bunch of other players, and I recorded a Skype call. At the time, counting myself, there were 6 players total, and this was my largest Skype recording to date. However, this record would be broken way easily later on. On 5/16/15, I recorded another session, and this one required a lot of strange and bizarre edits because of the call-outs that I had to do. On 5/18/15, I played by myself, and I recorded some fast-paced races at 200cc. On 5/27/15, I celebrated the 1-year anniversary of the series by playing as a green Yoshi and by not using my traditional Yoshi bike or wheels. On 8/26/15, I recorded a random session before I went to PAX Prime, but it also happened to be the 1-year anniversary of when I started using Black Yoshi. On 9/3/15, I recorded another amiibo costume session. This time I focused on the other amiibo that I had and recorded the costumes that mainly came out in DLC Pack 2. On 10/7/15, I recorded another friend room with a Skype group, and this became the largest Skype call that I had so far, but again, this record would be broken later on. I didn't record another episode of the series until 5/27/16, which marked the 2-year anniversary of the series, and I played the game similarly to how I did on my 1-year anniversary. On 6/2/16, I recorded a session specifically for a fan, and I recorded a traditional session in order to have a session that was somewhat normal in comparison to all the crazy themed Skype call episodes and all that good stuff that came before it. On 6/4/16, I did record another Skype call with friends, and this sparked a rivalry to a Canadian Luigi player.
Like I said, there's probably something. Are you kidding me? Something going on with the Nintendo Network.
The hacker's not working for any of you guys.
Oh my god, Luigi! Luigi, why did you do that? Luigi, you ruined me! I'm in 8th place now!
Yes.
I thought you were asking that because of
Luigi!
and I went behind you.
You made
Way
me
to
get
go.
12, you piece of junk! I'm gonna destroy you!
Alex,
Ah! No! Luigi! I got one more boomerang. Ah! I got him! I know what you guys are thinking. And yes, I am blaming Luigi. Did Luigi lose yet? Nope. Nope, he's passing me again. I'm gonna... Luigi! Why do you do this, man? I'll take it. I finally beat Luigi. Oh, and then on the victory screen, he shows up right next to me. Get the freak out of here.
On 6/10/16, I recorded a 2-player online session with CB Animation, and this was the first 2-player recording session since 2014. Then on 6/17/16, I recorded another 2-player session, but this time it was with my friend Cephazon. On 7/12/16, I recorded the game's battle mode for the first time, and this was in a tourney known as the Rampage tourney. On 7/16/16, I had a spontaneous recording session after being invited to someone's birthday friend room, and I recorded team races and Bob-omb only races. I recorded the session in case I needed to upload it, and sure enough, I did need to upload it because the episode that I planned to have go out that day got corrupted. Sometime in 2015, my game had difficulty in loading DS tracks for some reason. I don't know why, and I don't know how it got fixed, and I don't know when it started, but it did magically get fixed by 8/31/16, and in order to celebrate such an occasion, I had a race recorded on DS Cheap Cheap Beach. On 9/24/16, I recorded another friend room Skype call, and on 10/7/16, I recorded another session by myself. On 10/29/16, I recorded a Halloween-themed session in a tourney known as the Revenant Tourney, where everyone had to play as a Halloween-themed character, so I played as Dry Bowser. On 1/28/17, the first recording session of 2017, after recording Smash 3DS, Pokemon, and Splatoon matches on the same day, I hosted my largest Skype call yet and recorded a Mario Kart session. The following episode, 3/19/17, features my largest Skype call that I've ever had at 11 total players counting myself. And finally, on 4/15/17, this was a regular race session in which I wanted to say goodbye to Mario Kart 8 before this retrospective episode. And here we are now. Like I said, each episode has a bit of a story to it. Whether the session was simple, had co-commentary, had a theme, or just features me as a different character, each episode is special in its own way. I know that overall, the series is mainly just a showcase of myself playing Mario Kart matches, but I didn't want to just upload a bunch of Mario Kart videos for the sake of having content on my channel. I wanted to put effort into these videos. I wanted to make it worthwhile to make a video like this and for you guys to be excited whenever a new episode came out. My main schedule on my channel is to upload walkthroughs on the weekdays and online matches of games on the weekends. And these online matches of games consist of things like Super Smash Bros., Pokemon, Splatoon, and Mario Kart. Random Rapid Races became one of my most prominent series, and I even put it on my channel banner. Of course, this will soon be replaced with my new series, Deluxe Rapid Races, so here's a picture of my banner for memory's sake. Additionally, here are a few other tidbits and fun facts about this series. So this series is ending at a nice clean 50 episodes. Sounds cool, right? But did you know that every single thumbnail in this series featured a different track in the game? No track was ever used twice. Every track in the game was featured on a thumbnail, except for GCN Dry Dry Desert and the summer variant of the Animal Crossing track. Animal Crossing Summer served as the first track to appear in a thumbnail for my Deluxe Rapid Races series. Additionally, the second non-battle session of Deluxe Rapid Races features Dolphin Shoals on the thumbnail, which is the same as the second thumbnail of this series, Random Rapid Races. Mario Kart 8 was the first online series on my channel to be featured at 60 frames per second. Or was it? Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U only ran at 59 frames per second at 720p, and I only started uploading videos at this quality starting in around July of 2014. Whereas Mario Kart 8 Deluxe will run at 1080p, 60 frames per second. All of the tourneys that I hosted in Random Rapid Races started with the letter R. Ridiculous Tourney 1, Ridiculous Tourney 2, Replica Tourney, Retro Tourney, etc. All of the tourneys in my Deluxe Rapid Races series will start with the letter D. Well, that's everything that I can think of for now, but I'm sure that there are some other trivia facts that I didn't point out. But hey, I think that's enough trivia. Let's talk about the future. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is now available for the Nintendo Switch, and I've already provided a few videos of the game. I plan to host different tourneys and record all sorts of sessions where you guys will hopefully be able to participate with me. And now, Deluxe Rapid Races will be the successor to Random Rapid Races, and it will primarily be uploaded on the weekends in rotation with Super Smash Bros., Pokemon, and Splatoon. Whether you started watching my videos during the Mario Kart Wii days, whether you started watching my videos during the early Mario Kart 8 days, or whether you only started watching my videos now, thank you very much for your support, and if you were around since the Mario Kart Wii days, then thank you very much for sticking around. I know a lot of things are different now than they were back then, but that's just the way things are, and I'm hoping to be able to continue providing fun content for you guys to watch. For now, that about wraps up this series of Mario Kart 8 Random Rapid Races! And woo! It's been a fun ride, and the ride shall continue on the Nintendo Switch. So, I hope to see you all there. Bye-bye, humans! Whoosh! Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my video. I post videos every day, so if you want to be notified for when my next video goes out, please be sure to subscribe by clicking on my icon right there in the center. And please be sure to follow me on Twitter. My tag is @RealYoshiller. Thanks a bunch. See you all in future videos. Bye-bye, humans. Whoosh.